Welcome or welcome back to the Cozy Corner. If you're seeing this title, I just want to give a forewarning that I will be discussing abuse in the form of physical and emotional. So just FYI, come stay a while, get some popcorn, grab a cocktail, whatever you need to do to be cozy. I just want you to walk with me today because I feel like someone needs to say this, and I'm not seeing this across the internet just yet. Maybe I haven't seen it. I don't know. Maybe I don't spend enough time on the internet. But let's jump into the topic of today. So first and foremost, this is not a pile-on about the Wizard Liz. She's a beautiful girl. She is independent. She has built a fan base and had a concept and put it out there. Hats off to her. I'm sorry for what is going on for her. This is not about what she did or did not do wrong, okay? This is not about her. I'm sure she's reflecting and understands she could have made different choices, so we're not gonna go there, okay? I want women out there to understand something very important when it comes to the dating game. It needs to be said by as many people as possible because women at any age are impressionable when it comes to men, unfortunately. Contrary to popular belief, there are many ways to avoid being the girl that this happens to. What happened to the Wizard Liz and women like her does not have to happen to you. And when I see comments online that say, don't judge, this could happen to you, it boils my blood. Because, no, it couldn't. There are some women that I want you to understand, no, it could not. Not every single one of us women out here are in the headspace or the position to get swindled the way that she did. I'm gonna jump into some examples, but first I just need to make that very clear. It could be you. Don't, be humble. This could happen to you. No, thank you. No, it couldn't. No, it couldn't. Especially in the dating phase. And the dating phase needs to last longer than, 3 to 5 months, given the fact that there were times where that love story was more normal and you just get swept off your feet. The men are not built the same as in The Notebook or whatever fairy tale we're all apparently supposed to be living under. So yes, oftentimes you do hear stories about we've been together for 20 years, we bumped into each other at the movies, and I asked her to propose, or I proposed to her, and we've been together for 15,000 years. That's not how things work really anymore, on average, okay? You cannot be that careless with your heart and with your life. The jig is up. If you think we are living in a fairy tale at this point, at your big age, and I'm talking about if you are over the age of 18, since everyone wants to be an adult, when it's time to do what you want to do, go out and get drunk or go have sex or go do this and go move across the world you want to go date boys. You want to be grown, right? So you better be grown when it comes to making really tough decisions. And really tough decisions come about when you even enter the atmosphere of men. Because remember, they are our apex predator. If you do not know that, or you do not believe that, that's okay. You are denying reality right now. There are women on this planet, and I know so many of them, and I will just come right out and say it, I am one of them. Unless I happen to have been married for 5 years or 10 or 15, and then one day with zero forewarning, a man just decides to grab me up and throw me across the room. That is the only possible way I could have someone financially destroy my life, or physically destroy my body, or emotionally just toy with my mind, where it would have to genuinely, not what I say to my friends where I'm lying and saying, no, there was no, like for real. One day, the person just completely out of nowhere. That is the only way for some women that could ever happen. The way that you avoid the general typical concept of the way that men can bamboozle you, with similar to like what happened with the wizard Liz and the Tinder swindler, and then that vegan. I've seen these shows on Netflix, like the vegan one. She just fell in love. First and foremost, you cannot be desperate. If you are desperate, a predator can smell that. You move different, you act different, you even respond to the way that they cross your boundaries and ask you questions completely differently than someone who is not desperate. They can sense that, and everyone else around you can sense that too. I need you to understand and trust and believe that the only option in life is not that you have to be in a relationship or in close proximity with a romantic partner. You have other options. You do not have to settle for horrible, mean, detrimental, psychotic behavior with someone who clearly does not like you, and you have that feeling in your gut. You do not have to stick around. Who said you had to? Think about that. You need to have discernment, and people say that all across the internet. But what it really looks like is taking the time to dissect for yourself. What did that mean? I do feel a little bit weird when he just said that, or I don't think I actually wanted to sleep with him, but I did. You need to understand that the reason that you're a little bit confused, if you are ever in a confused position, that man is not for you. The right man, a respectable man, a man who does not want to make you feel unsafe, will not confuse you. He will not abuse you. He will not say mean things to you. He will not say backhanded comments to you. That's not how this goes. And unfortunately, yes, this brings me back to the point. That means if you never find someone who knows how to act right, then no, you're not going to end up with your Prince Charming. You need to be okay with that. It's hard, I know. But also, stop trying to rush. Stop trying to get the ring. When men know that, they can use it and they can abuse you along the way because they dangle the carrot, aka the diamond, in front of you, and they can start moving the goalpost and they can start crossing boundaries just because they know this girl wants this rock. She's gonna do whatever I say. She's gonna contort her body and her views and her whatever to whatever I say. If you cannot do that at your big age, ask yourself, are you ready to be in proximity or in a relationship, period? If you cannot handle confrontation and you want to keep the peace and you want to be docile and you want to avoid ruffling feathers and you want to paint a pretty picture, ask yourself, are you sure you are ready for this relationship or to be anywhere near your apex predator. Because as much as you think you can femininity it up and dark femininity, whatever all these stupid terms are, they are always one step ahead. I'm sorry. Even the dumb ones, the way that they can manipulate, because lust and seduction that comes from them, it makes us weak. It just does. Okay, you understand? I'm not dumb. I'm aware. When I see muscles, I'm like, oh, okay, what was that you were saying? I get it. You kind of go blank. You gotta be smart and ask yourself and check in with yourself, not your little group chat, because the group chat, it's not a good idea. What do you want? What works for you? What makes you feel uncomfortable? And half the time, by the way, your friends have to tiptoe around a new situation because they don't want to get cast out by you, because women are very sensitive about the choices that they make, even if they know that the decision is wrong, or they know they jumped in too soon, and they know they're with someone abusive, or they know something's a little bit weird. The friends can't say anything. So they're gonna tiptoe around the right answer. Your friends can see this from a mile away. Think about that. And that's just the position that women put their friends in when we know that there's a in the room that you want to attach yourself to. We have to start tiptoeing because we know, we can see he sucks, but we want to keep our friendship, so we're just going to stay out of it. Now, how do I know this? I have a dad who is very vocal. I have a brother who is very vocal. I have an uncle who is very vocal. I have parents and family and friends who are very, very, very vocal. And guess what? I have a sense about me where I'm logical. You have to be logical. As much as I want to use my heart for everything, that would have gotten me stuck in some crazy, horrible situations. I have not been used and abused and discarded and beat and cheated on by anyone romantically. Anyone. Do you want to know why? Because I understand that although the dating game, it's a game, I understand that it is no joke. My life could be on the line any time I lock the door with a man. And if that sounds too intense or dramatic, I cannot help you, because it's a game, but this is not a joke. And the Wizard Liz is actually the best example of it. She's lucky, unfortunately, that is all that guy did. The men who approach me are men exactly like who that guy thinks he is, or he wants to be. He's cosplaying as that, okay? CEOs, executives, people who are just top in their company, blah, blah, blah. And guess what? None of that means, because where are they? They got kicked to the curb. This is how you avoid becoming the Wizard Liz. One example, a man who his car collection was $500,000. He had 2 homes, tall, handsome, everything. Women falling all over him when we were even in public. He only had eyes for me. Easy to fall for, correct? Guess what? First strike. Wait, why are you still on the dating apps? And he goes, oh, silly. The notification popped up because I just deleted the app, like you asked me to last week. They were just sending me a notification that my subscription ended. Do I look dumb? I clocked it. I said, okay, because I just like to collect data. He was lying. Number 1, that's 1 strike, okay? Because 1 strike policy is fine. Not every single person is some psycho narcissist who's ready to use and abuse you. 1 time, people make mistakes, so I clocked it. Okay, moving on, even though I knew he was lying. Now, second thing, we're at a baseball game, and he goes, he's talking to this girl, and he's kind of making bantering with her, and she was with another man. And so it was one of those little, like, the girl and we were both like a couple at the game, and so we were just talking. And then he goes, ha ha ha, in the car, oh, that tubby girl, what she was saying, do you remember? And I looked at him, I said, what did you just say? And he's like, tubby. And I go, ha ha, and I laugh it off. Strike two. This is already where strike two, you're out. Because this part, up to this point, that's not abusive, okay? But we're about to get there. It's just clocking how disrespectful this type of man is, okay? Third thing, it was his birthday. I met his friends. We all got drunk, had a good time. But like, I got sick, his friends got sick, there was champagne flowing, and then we topped it off with a shot of tequila. Do not do that. Beer before liquor, never been sicker, okay? I broke the rule, we all died. And the next day, he picks me up, we're driving around in his Bentley, his big body Bentley, okay? And I was just like, living the life. Guess what? He goes, oh my gosh, it was so crazy, like, you got so drunk, you throw up, but like, I took care of you, it's okay. God, that was so stupid of you. And I go, and we had parked at this time, and he was about, we parked in a parking lot. We were about to get out of the car, and we were about to leave. Sorry, we weren't driving. Before he can push to start, I grab his wrist and I go, what the did you just say to me? And he's like, that was stupid. Obviously, like, you and my friend, that was so stupid. And I go, and I grab him tighter and I said, I don't know how you and your friends talk to each other, and I don't really care, but do not ever call me stupid or call me out of my name. Do you understand? And he's like, whoa, okay, calm down. I said, I'm calm. Did you understand what I just said? And he's like, yes, I got it. And I go, great, let's go. And then he starts the car and we go on with our day. That is strike three. The next day, because it was raining, I called him. I said, hey, can you just drop off some of my stuff? Like, I just want to wash my stuff and make sure, like, Never saw him ever again. I told him exactly about himself safely when he was gone. Never saw him ever again. Blocked, delete. Avoided a bamboozler. He was gearing me up to abuse me, and he gaslit me in so many other ways, but like, it's just too much detail. Next situation, a fine young gent who I actually dated for a long time. Are you ready for this? I told a joke, and he like, the way that he responded was like disrespectful. And I said, don't say that. I don't like that. Don't speak to me like that. And I was like, I know you're joking. I don't like that. And he goes, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. What did I say? And he asked me to repeat it. And he goes, oh my God, like, I wasn't even thinking. I understand. I hear you. I respect you. I would never want to make you feel like that. Thank you for letting me know. It won't ever happen again. Do you understand the difference? That fine young gent went on to be my boyfriend for a long time. We didn't work out for other reasons. Not one other time did I ever have to clock his behavior. Not once. But do you see the difference in these stories? You have to clock them early. You have to clock them early. They are trying to figure out which boundaries they can push. If you don't clock them early, they think they can get away with a lot more. And when they think that, they just do. And then you've created a monster, and the genie's out of the bottle, and you can't unspill the milk. Do you see? That is why you clock every single man, whether you think this is your husband or not, or you think it's just a one night hookup, or you just met this guy at a wedding and you're like, oh my God, he's so innocent. He's at a wedding. I don't care. I don't care where you meet him, how long you think you're going to know him, whether it's for 3 minutes in the back or for 30 years. You clock every single one of them. And that is how you do it. You just let them know directly, calmly, even with a smile if you need to, so that they know how crazy you are. You let them know, don't ever say that again. Do not speak to me like that. That doesn't fly with me. It's actually that simple. Their response and then their actions afterward are going to tell you exactly what you need to know. And guess what? If clocking them the first time does not work, cut goodbye. I do not care what you think he's doing for you or how many vehicles he has, because none of that was in my name. None of his homes did he sign over to me. He did not put me on any deed. Remember that. So do not get clouded by anything a man has, his watch. When they start talking about their watch, go, huh, cool. I've seen that before. Is it a Richard Mille? Like, just start saying the most expensive stuff so he can say no and feel like an idiot because he doesn't have $1 million watch. Just like that, just get rid of all that nonsense and wait for their boundary pushing to come, because it will, especially men like that. Clock them, okay? That's one way. I had a very close friend of mine, and she was dating a guy in our friend group. Fun group of friends. We would go out. They met through the friends. There was like 30 something of us who would go out. We would take trips. We were in Mexico. We were everywhere. We would have DJ parties at their house and just going absolutely insane, okay? We noticed over time, that's weird. She's really, really skinny, okay? She seems really frail and something's off. And then she started opening up to me and she let me know something isn't right. I need help. And I said, what's going on? She showed me a video of really disturbing abuse. I didn't expect to actually cry. Let me just try and get through it. She showed me a video of him berating her. She's on the floor, crying her eyes out, mascara like down her face, screaming, like choking from crying so much. And you can hear him in the back telling her, you better apologize for what you've done, calling her every name in the book, like degrading her, calling her a slut, a whore, everything, the B word, everything, and just saying, bark like a dog if you want my forgiveness, you stupid B. And laughing. And she's sitting there screaming on the floor. And he's recording it on her phone. And she's telling me this, and she's literally like 110 pounds. And she's like 5'8". And she's shaking, and she's tiny and withering away. And I have a hard time talking about it because I tried to block it out. The man next door, your friend, your college buddy, the guy in the friend group, your brother, your dad, whoever, if they're a man, that is what they're capable of. You do not know them like that because you are not romantically attached to them. Romance brings out a different beast in everyone. This is what I'm talking about when I tell you this is not a joke. This is a game. Dating is a game, but this is not a joke. She has serious damage from that. She has therapy multiple times a week to deconstruct how she got there. She finally was able to talk to me and open up a little bit more, and she let me know all of the signs were there. I just wanted to ignore it because of my self-worth and I lost myself. and he was telling me what I wanted to hear, and yada, 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 okay? And it's not her taking on the blame and the responsibility. It's they're monsters. Not all of them, but a lot of them. They're monsters. And if you get close to them, that's what they're capable of. And again, that's not as bad as it gets. That doesn't mean I want to go experience that, and you should not want to either. So this is why it could never be me. What has happened to the wizard Liz, the whirlwind romance and the 3 months or whatever, and I'm sorry if I don't know the perfect details. I don't consume her content because I saw this coming from a mile away. And this is why I'm not counterculture to what she's saying. Like, girl, get that bag. Yes, date the right type of guy and pick your poison. If you're gonna pick your poison, make sure, you pass out in the Bentley. I get the whole concept of where she was trying to go. But unfortunately, when you get swept away using your emotions and being desperate and living in a fake world, that is what happens. If you do not logically take a step back, and also, like I said before, check them every single time so they know you are not to be played with. Check them. That is how you become, with full certainty, someone who that could never, ever happen to. I will not sit here and be humble and try and dance around and try and relate to how dumb some man wants to try and make me look, because all the lies and the name calling and the crossing the boundaries and coercion and the embarrassment and being rude to people around you just to see your reaction, that's what they're just trying to do. They're just trying to see, how dumb is she? How far can I take this? How much can I bamboozle her? They get a kick out of that. If you do not check them the first time and call them out and sit them down and have a conversation, if they're even worth it, because most of them are not. Yeah, you are someone who this could happen to. Yeah, this could happen. I don't relate to that. And I want there to be more women out there who do not relate to how the wizard Liz found herself in this situation, because I'm sorry, but I do not. You need to be smarter. You need to up your price. And the reason I say that is because everyone has a price. And your price needs to be so high, and I'm not really talking about physical money, actual money. It's just, you need to make a decision about what you want, don't want, what you will accept, what you will not accept. Do not waver on it. Even if it comes down to, oh, I usually don't go for this type of guy, but boop, you just crossed your own boundary. Welcome to he's gonna cross yours too. And then you're gonna be mad at yourself that you even gave the blank guy a chance. This is how this all keeps happening. So if you that is hard. I'm not gonna sit there and act like it's not. Because when you get too rigid with, oh, I only date this, and this, like, we've all seen that you can end up very happily with the people you would never guess, okay? But I'm saying, when you know it in your gut, you're like, I'm not even into him. Like, no, I said I really want someone, let's say around my age, and some 65-year-old shows up who's charming and it all sounds perfect. Don't do it. Around your age, when you're like 25, maximum is like 35, not 60, because that 65-year-old's gonna come on in and do you so dirty because you already betrayed yourself just to begin with. So if you want to avoid getting swindled, bamboozled, or put in the Wizard Liz's position, use your noggin first. Noggin first. Does this make sense for me? Is he adding anything to my life that I cannot already provide for myself? What is the risk if I go out with him or even give him your number? What is the risk? What is the reward? Ask yourself these questions. That is how you logically can break down and find out, where is this gonna go? Does this work for my life? If the answer is no, they don't have to necessarily do anything. You can, guess what? You can just stop talking to them. You can just ignore someone's message. It's not, that doesn't make you a bitch. It doesn't make you a horrible person. It doesn't make you part of the problem. No, part of the problem is feeding into the patriarchy and the feelings of men who would leave you for. I'm sorry. I'm gonna leave it here, but I think these conversations are important amongst women because I do feel like I give messages in a sort of tough love way, but it's because you have people dancing around the truth. And the truth is, when people make comments projecting that it could be you, and we're all as women just supposed to agree with that and settle, that is dangerous. Okay? It's very dangerous to think like that. We are not helpless little fawns. Grow up. And if you want to be involved with men, make sure you have your armor on. That's the truth. Thank you for watching. Let me know what you're thinking. Have you come across anyone who has tried to push your boundaries lately? What was that like? What did it feel like? Hopefully you were able to express the boundary and push back, and hopefully you're safe. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.